Hey, this is Gareth and Bruce. This is our first attempt at a podcast.
We just don't know where it's gonna go.
You got more of the gruff voice. I got more of the
Softer feminine voice.
screw you.
Hey.
I don't know, I felt a little snobby when we hit 10 episodes.
Okay, that's an interesting question.
The two of us can be Vin Diesel. Gareth can drive like him. And I can
You
look
can
like
look
him.
Welcome to Spaghetti Junction. My name is Gareth,
My name is Bruce.
and we talk about things. We just don't know
know
where
where
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
go.
Welcome everybody to episode 89. My name is Gareth.
My name is Bruce.
We like to talk about things.
Just don't know where they're gonna go.
So one away from the big 9-0.
Sure, it's crazy, hey?
So crazy, bro.
It's been, what were you saying earlier? It's been about 2 years.
Almost.
Yes.
I'll let them know. It's coming up. We'll have like a party episode. It's in a few weeks actually. We've been doing it for a while.
That's very cool, yeah?
So well done to us both.
Cheapers, yeah. We have to have a bottle of champagne or something.
No, not near you,
Why?
because you break things and you smack glasses and
Oh,
cups
yeah, that's
everywhere.
also true. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll think about it.
Give me a sippy cup instead.
Sippy cup. Yeah, that's a good idea actually. A sippy cup. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so I have band news.
Yes, tell me band news.
Not news that I was banned.
But a news about a band.
Yeah. So we finally have an audition for a singer because none of our auditions have panned out so far.
So this is the first person to like actually see you,
Fingers crossed.
like face to face.
We have someone planned for this coming week.
And you think there's
so we'll
possibility.
see. I don't know. I haven't heard the dude sing, so we'll
Okay.
have to see.
Good luck.
He's kind of getting back into it after a while of not singing, so
That's a great start.
we'll see. And then another drummer that I know has been sort of pestering the bass player and myself to link up and start doing something as well.
Okay.
So there's a chance I'm going to be pulling double duty between two different bands.
And that's all right.
It's
With the
going to
bands.
be
They don't care.
it should be okay. I think the main band actually we don't gig too much,
Okay.
and so
So it's not like at the levels where, where bands that we know that someone can't just drop out and end up playing in two bands.
no. But I mean, it's very
In general.
it's very common for guys to pull double duty and just
But not in the big bands. Like you wouldn't see Bono in two different bands.
No, but what you
or
do
like Chris Martin from two different bands.
No. Well, although look at Miles Kennedy. I mean, he sings for Alter Bridge
He
and for
doesn't
Slash.
sound like Chris Martin though.
He's way better than Chris Martin.
Hey.
I'll tell you that much.
In your
And
views, yes.
he
But I was talking about Chris Martin. So carrying on to you, but we're not
Yeah.
going to go into bands.
anyway,
Into your story.
So yeah.
Okay,
so,
fine.
So that's
But then
what's-
again, you guys aren't that big, so you guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so we'll see
Okay,
how
cool.
we'll see how that happens. He's a very good drummer, and he used to be the dean of Allenby campus where I studied music.
But
Can you believe it?
LMB campus.
Yes.
Look at you.
And so yeah, very cool guy. Hard hitting drummer here. Really like
Pounds.
Baluxums those things. Powerhouse drummer. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the kind of drummer you want. Over the top, loud, brash.
Raucous.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, I'm
Raucous.
looking forward to it.
Nice, dude.
You know.
Well, hopefully this person can sing.
Actually, yeah, let's hope so.
As you keep on looking, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, I actually had a thought now, that we're talking about two kind of stuff. Well, one of the good examples right now is Bruno Mars. So Bruno Mars, is himself, and then he's in another band
Yes. Yeah.
called
Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic.
Damn, those guys are good. Oh, my word. I
And
love them.
I mean, in their first year of doing everything, they got, I think it was about 3 or 4 Grammys.
That dude, anything he touches just turns to gold.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's fantastic. I'll always have.
Bruno Mars, yeah.
Yes.
No, he's got oodles of freaking crap load of talent.
And it's
everywhere.
like Silk Sonic. They they walk that fine line between, like, are you really being cheesy or are you actually getting this right? And it's like like they go between there, because I saw the video for that first single that they
Okay.
did, which is I thought, man, like 90% of me think this is cool, and then the other part of me is like, are you guys, are you
For
are
real?
You, are you for real?
Yeah.
But they're very, very good, considering how the drummer does a lot of the lead vocals.
That's right. I was
I'm
watching
very
that
impressed.
actually.
Between him and Bruno Mars, very cool. And they just
Yeah.
yes, yeah, he gets it. He definitely gets it.
Yeah, they have fun.
Very cool.
That's a fun band.
I
It really is.
haven't listened to much else of their.
I listened to. I don't know if they've actually released newer stuff since then, but
No.
But I mean, for that first year of doing stuff, and they really got Grammy awards.
Mm.
That shows.
Yeah.
That shows. Yeah.
So, Bruce's
Spit it out, buddy.
weird segues into our
We don't
different
do
subjects. We don't
segues.
do them. We just
Our
go
last
straight in.
episode, we didn't. We don't do segues, Bruce.
No, we don't.
Because they don't work.
So, top 10 lists.
Yes.
This is our lightest topic. We're just going to have a laugh and see how we
Top
see
10
where we
lists
go.
of various exactly.
So very interesting stuff. What did you
wanted
choose?
to bring.
Uh,
I mean,
you
you
want-
mentioned something about emotes.
Emojis.
Emojis. So
Emojis.
you'll do emojis. I want to bring up. I had one about 10. No, not the bizarre. Just stay with me, people. 10 times people did insane things,
Oh yeah.
and it's actually quite some interesting stuff.
There's a lot of insanity in this world.
But I
so
didn't
it's
know that
interesting.
they did it with emos.
Emojis.
Explain that.
Well, this is where emojis were very much created miscommunication
Okay.
because
Oh, when you're sending an emoji and you think you know what you mean without going a whole nother direction.
Exactly
Oh,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is the issue with texting in general.
Yes.
You've got to be very careful.
When the person thinks that you, but it's like I didn't even think about that.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
So my first one is emojis cost a couple over $2,200 over a rental dispute.
Rental. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in 2017, a landlord and a pair of potential tenants were discussing a rental deal. The potential renter expressed interest, and they just wanted to discuss the details. And then the landlord suddenly took the advert down for the property.
Okay.
And because then the potential renter stopped texting, and the landlord sued them.
He sued them.
Yeah, his argument was that the texters he had convinced him they were interested thanks to the emojis they used in the text.
Okay. What did they say?
They were using a bottle of champagne, a smiley face, and a dancing figure.
Yeah. So they're happy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it sounds like they.
yeah. So they
Okay.
they just wanted to discuss the details.
But from their emojis, he thought that they took it.
Yeah, and then the landlord sued them because they stopped texting. So they obviously had decided that they didn't want to take it.
But they didn't. Did they ever say we will take it?
No, they said they're quite interested, and they just they expressed interest, but they just wanted to discuss the details. But then they stopped texting, and
Yeah.
the
Because it
landlord.
meant that they didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, they didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And then the landlord took the advert down because he
Thinking that
thought
they were gonna take it.
because he thought they were going to take it.
But they never said yes, we will take it.
No, they said they wanted to discuss the details, and then they just ghosted.
But
Stopped
then they
talking.
sent those emojis,
They
which,
were
which
using-
could be confusing though.
Yeah. So and
Because
actually,
it sounds like you're excited and you're dancing and you're popping champagne.
exactly, and that's why the judge ruled in the landlord's favor. And
Because
they had
of-
to pay him $2,200 in rent
because of the emojis.
because more baffling was the judge in the case agreed, awarding the landlord why it conveyed great optimism. The emojis
Yes.
conveyed great optimism and convinced the landlord that he would have a deal.
Yes.
The official
Okay.
argument was one of reliance, which says a party may act in reliance on another's implied intent.
So the emojis
The emojis
implied.
implied this positive intent. He took the advert down, and then lost out on other potential
renting for the month.
on other potential tenants because he thought these people were. So I think he was in the right. So he's like, "Damn, give me my money."
It's so borderline, but it's very that's interesting.
Huh?
Yeah. So the question of this is of number 10 of mine, the interest is how much? So there's also like a financial thing in Ricky, I guess.
Okay.
So in 2009, the Contora Loan Company in Latvia raised eyebrows when it presented an unusual offer to those suffering through tough economic times. Very nice of them. All potential clients needed to do to secure a small loan was to agree to the collateral, which was what? Their immortal soul.
Word. Prick your finger and sign on the dotted line.
When interviewed about this weirdness, Viktor Miroshlenko, who was the face of the company at that time, confirmed that the soul part of the contract was the only part he would hold clients to, and of course the 1% interest rate per day. At the time, Latvia, okay, first of all, okay, there's so many questions in that one. Like, how do you... It makes me think of movies, of a movie made by a company called Blumhouse, B-L-U-M House. They are well known.
I know Blumhouse.
All their stuff they do is freaking
Messed
freaky,
up,
scary,
yeah.
mess up stuff.
I like them.
can see this. I know, me as well. I could see this being one of their movies.
Yo.
It's very much... You signing on there, it's like, he's just joking. Meanwhile, he's freaking the devil or someone close to it. Signs over their soul. At that time, Latvia was the EU nation worst hit by the economic crisis. And Miroshlenko said his company offered a way out to ride the storm. He trusted the over 200 people who took up the loan offer would honor the agreement, saying, if they don't give it back, what can you do? They won't have a soul, that's all.
Jeez, like, okay.
So the question is, what inner demon is that guy? Is that guy pumping out?
How would you though? How would you?
Look, I'm sorry, I wouldn't even give someone an option.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, if someone's that weird that they think that they can take your soul, I'm not taking a chance. You may think he's weird, but on that off chance that you're signing something down to your soul.
And who goes, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Obviously, the 200 people who went with it. So 200 people have obviously, but I think you'll only lose your soul with this guy if you don't pay back the interest, if you don't pay back the loan.
Oh, okay.
So your soul is yours until you do not keep up the payments. Then someone's going to come in the middle of the night and yank it out of you. Yeah. And that's true, by the way. I mean, this is all true.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, Bruce.
Jeez.
It's cray-cray. I'm social media at its best.
So, did you know that the crown emoji actually presents pimping or human trafficking?
What? Say that again?
The crown emoji represents pimping or human trafficking.
To who?
Apparently, it's a thing.
Because the crown means you're royal, or like, yes, king, yes, queen.
Apparently, not on texting and WhatsApp and that.
But I'm sure people who use that, the majority don't go, I'm putting the crown for something.
Yeah, but apparently it is also a thing that is quite negative.
So if there's okay, carry on with the story.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So no doubt you've seen some dubious use of various fruit and vegetables emojis in the past,
Yes.
used in a somewhat illicit context here and there. The DEA even has a whole list of emojis meant to indicate illegal drugs, which we'll touch on later. But things can get even darker and have turned up in criminal cases before judges. The crown emoji, which may seem innocuous to most of us. In court documents, prosecutors have cited the crown emoji as being a symbol of the sex trade and exploitation.
Wow.
Yeah. Specifically, it is used to denote a pimp.
The crown.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm sorry, but where would you put it into a sentence, though? That's the bigger thing.
I don't know.
So how would you just drop a crown in somewhere there for, hey,
Yeah.
are you going out tonight? Will you come and see my crown?
Yeah. According to this, there's an entire language of emojis that law enforcement says
That
tied
makes
to
sense.
sex trafficking and sex work.
Unfortunately, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be on every person's
No.
WhatsApp messages
But
somehow. I think they're looking for specific people.
Yeah.
But it does make sense, though, because there's so many emojis.
There is.
It sadly makes sense. Sadly.
Where you got next?
Let me give to you my number 9. Hiding the truth. Which is always a good thing to do, I guess, if you are a murderer. Because in 2009, UK police received a tip-off that led them to a gruesome discovery in the suburb of Sidcup. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to read this one because it reminds me of an actual real-life one. Okay, this is real life, sorry. But an actual story that was actually quite... Yeah, and unfortunately, like, what? This actually happened in New Zealand maybe 2 months back, maybe. Where, and this is all true. So this couple, they went off to storage units, where
Right.
which you can lock and okay, and they had like a very much like a like the people like those those TV shows where you can bet bet I'm going to give this $10, I'm going to give this $100. So they basically won a storage unit.
Oh, okay.
And there were a bunch of bags and a bunch of random stuff. So they took a few bags back. Well, one was relatively heavy. So then they got home, went onto the lawn, opened them up. In the heavy bag, there were dismembered parts of a body,
Lord.
of bodies actually. And this is for real. Yeah.
Wasn't there like a really bad smell in the storage unit?
I think there was an awareness that there was a smell, but they thought it was the actual unit being locked for so long. But as soon as they brought the bag out and there was that smell, and when they unzipped it, yeah, and it was actually, I don't know how dark you want to go with this thing. Well, anyways, the let's just say there were some bodies there from years ago.
Oh my word!
And the person who was involved with it, they've actually found her in China, and now they are trying to bring her across to get to be put in court in New Zealand.
Wow!
So if you do win, a big lockable containers, just check stuff before you leave. I think.
Yeah.
And if it's heavy, it's not always a good thing for a suitcase.
And check for funny smells.
Yeah.
So, this is the craziness that we're living in. An emoji was the Oxford Dictionary word of the year in 2015.
A what?
An emoji was the Oxford Dictionary word of the year.
Okay. Emoji was a
Yes.
word of the year.
Yeah. Like this is the craziness that we are now living in. Where an actual picture wins an award.
So as a picture, it wasn't the word emoji.
No, it was an emoji that won word of the year.
As a word?
Yes.
Okay, that's screwed up. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. So so it was a real coup for emojis, because arguably fewer things are more lauded as being experts on language and the written word than whoever the mysterious people behind the world's most well-known dictionaries are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back in 2015, the face with tears of joy, or the laughing and crying emoji, was chosen to sum up the world in 2015.
I would hate to see the one that would sum up the world in 2019,
2020,
or 2020.
It was just crying.
No, it'd be the one emoji, the poop emoji.
That's also true.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It represented 20% of all emoji use that year, making it the breakaway champ by a long shot. Far ahead of the second place emoji, which only guarded 9% of all emoji use, and they don't say what that was.
The question: how did you get your injury? And I love these ones because these aren't made up for some Netflix show. They're just actually for reals. So in a news story, several outlets reported that in 2021 that the bomb squad had been called to the Gloucestershire Royal Hospital in England. Why the heck? This came after a man was admitted who had a World War II era shell stuck up his butt.
Well, everyone's got their thing, I suppose.
The first question comes to me like, how big was this World War II era shell? I mean, I would imagine it's not small.
Well, it could have been a rifle shell, or it could have been a
Well,
howitzer shell.
no, well, if they said a shell, it means it's a bomb shell. It's an actual. It's not a bullet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, it's the shell that holds the.
True.
Yeah.
So I asked how he got he pulled out the old. I was cleaning my stuff when I put it down on the floor. I slipped and fell on it.
Yeah, sure.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
So the bomb squad was able to stabilize the scene and found that their device was not dangerous, after which it was removed from his rectum. I just want to know, I'm just curious about what shell it was. Sorry, when I hear shell, I think of like a mortar shell or an actual not because it wouldn't be called a bullet shell, it would be called a bullet casing.
Yeah, shell casing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be World War II era shell casing.
Jeez, that must have hurt.
So I'm thinking a shell.
Oh yeah, but so he was cleaning his stuff naked, basically, because otherwise.
and he fell and tripped on it. Yeah, exactly.
You go with that one.
Yeah, you
buddy.
go with that one.
Go.
No,
We
nobody.
believe you.
Yeah. So don't play with the shells. Carry on.
So, did you know that the book Moby Dick has been rewritten using just emojis?
I guess you could use two.
Literary classic.
No, but like literally, you could use two emojis:
Yeah.
a whale
Well, and or a spoon.
and an
Or
eggplant.
both.
An eggplant, because it's Moby Dick. You are so slow,
Didn't even think of that.
didn't you? I would have thought you would have. You were like going, yeah, the ship that. No. Carry on, sir.
Yeah. So.
What do they do?
Yeah, it's so Moby Dick has been the mainstay of high school English classes. It has been translated into 22 different languages, and it is now there's an emoji version of the book, and it's even being held in the Library of Congress.
Emojis.
It's literally called Emoji Dick,
Emoji Dick.
as it's called. It was translated by a name named Fred Benenson, obviously someone who doesn't have who has got a hell of a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, and he's being paid for it somehow.
He'd have whole conversations in emoji. So he basically created an entire language using just emojis, and he decided to he tweaked the idea to be he wanted to write an emoji novel, and he tweaked the idea to be a translation rather than an original work, and opted for Moby Dick.
So literally, the book opened and every single page is just emojis. Why would it be in the United States? What did you say it was going to be?
The Library of Congress.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
That really shows how messed up their system is. If you can put an emoji book in your freaking... I mean, the movie didn't even make it. That was a huge flop. Why are you going to put a book in there?
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
So some people have weird cravings, but even without being pregnant. You know, within pregnancy, it's like ice. I've heard about charcoal.
Yeah.
I've heard some random things.
Right.
But when this woman, who's 52, her name is Margaret Dahlman.
Okay.
Thank you, Margaret. She went to the hospital complaining of pain, blah, blah, blah. And what happened? Well, they painstakingly, in surgery, removed 78 pieces of cutlery, including forks and spoons.
Oh, my word.
How do you get a fork? Oh, well.
Jeez. Okay.
Spoons, I guess, can go down slightly smooth. A fork. 78 pieces.
That's crazy.
And she's wondering why she has a sore stomach. What? I mean, I know people have their weird cravings, like some really weird stuff. Like somebody wants to, I was reading there's a whole pile of like really weird stuff, which people will eat. But I didn't think it went to a point. It's some form of Mental illness, I think.
I can.
I would imagine.
That can be the only
It has to
example.
be. You just
It
sit
can be the
there
only
and
answer. Yeah.
let me
That's
eat a
not
fork
normal.
today, and tomorrow I'm not that hungry. I'm going to eat a teaspoon.
Pretty much.
So she suffers. She suffers from a condition called pica or pica. Let's call it pica, P-I-C-A, which causes her to crave either excessive amounts of food commodities or non-food substances. This condition is considered a form of self-harm and is not easy to diagnose without an extensively medical workup or finding 78 pieces of cutlery in there.
Jeez.
So that's called pica.
Okay.
And it was revealed afterwards that this wasn't her first visit to this emergency room.
Why am I not surprised?
You know what? I mean, if she is eating cutlery, she may as well have like a salt, a pepper, and a little piece of meat, and she can have like a whole party down there.
I don't know.
But it is. I actually did. I mean, I knew that this kind of thing wasn't a normal thing. So this is called pica, P-I-C-A, and she's not the only one in the world.
Jeepers.
Yeah. Well, there we go. But that must have hurt. I don't know how you would do that.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so yet another example of how weird the Western world has become. Australia now.
There we go. Enough said.
Hey, Brendan. Australia allows certain emojis on car license plates now.
No.
Yo,
For real?
Yo.
Cool.
For realsies.
So easy, bro.
In Australia, 2019 was the year emojis became a legal way to identify people, at least in certain circumstances. They became a permissible item to have on your car's license plate. Like any vanity plate, there is an extra charge involving getting an emoji.
They're not cheap, yeah.
And as you might expect, they keep a tight rein on which emojis you're allowed to use, in case one was planning on trying to get something with illicit meaning put through.
What's going on right now? Something happening on your microphone.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Something just don't know what it was.
It's a special filter.
Yeah. Okay.
Only 5 of the more positive emotion smiley faces were allowed.
Only 5.
Only 5
Out of all the emojis?
positive emotions.
Okay.
So you can't walk around with a, eggplant or a turd or a.
Okay. It has to be nice and friendly.
Yeah, because Australia is apparently a nice and friendly country.
That is actually.
Also worth noting, the emoji is not technically part of the actual plate, which means if you have one and you lead the police on a high-speed chase, they just call in the letter and the number part. They don't have to put out an APB for the sunglasses emoji.
And that's why I find, like you can get your name on your plates.
Yes.
Because it is vanity. I won't do it. You know why? Because if anything happens with that person, be it a crash, be it they run away from cops, for example, they're involved in a hijacking.
Yeah.
You don't have to remember their plate. You just, that's their name. That's why I never. If I'm in a crash, but people shouldn't know who I am. So here's a Second World War thing for you.
Oh, cool.
So Hitler decided
that
a different type of army needed to be bred in order to help, and this isn't made up, in order to help the Nazis to gain even more power.
Right.
And it wasn't a human army either. So, instead, the Nazis were to try and create an army of dogs that could be taught to talk, read, and write. This came on the back of a number of German animal psychologists who at the time believed that dogs were intelligent as humans and could be taught to think and communicate abstractly.
Jeepers.
So that's really where you're really getting into a war when you must think so much of yourself to a point where you think, we can make animals talk.
Yeah.
That's easy. The vision was that the dog would join the German army and help guard concentration camps in the place of SS officers. So Hitler set up an animal talking school. This is for real.
Yes.
And proceed. I didn't know he did this.
I had no idea.
This is for real. And he proceeded to recruit smart dogs, I don't know how you know they are, from throughout the country. And soon outlandish claims started making the rounds that some of these dogs could spell words by tapping their paws on a wooden board,
Wow.
while others apparently asked to serve in the German army because they disliked the French. And it's obviously safe to say that it never happened, that it never
I
materialized.
can imagine.
That shows a bit of a loon. Maybe that's going to be something that old Mr. Old Putin is going to maybe try, because he's failing dismally right now. Yeah.
So apparently, emojis can make people eat healthier.
Okay.
Okay. And what they found was that if you use emojis and arrows to point people towards healthier food choices in the grocery store, they would shop accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty good, I suppose.
Using emojis. Okay.
And this doesn't mean buying all the junk they normally buy, plus fruits and veggies. They actually substituted healthy food for the unhealthy choices. So it's weird. Because of the emojis, there was something psychological that happened, and they actually.
Psychological. Yeah, if you really are into your emojis, there has to be something psychologically wrong.
Yeah, in another study, children ages 5 to 11 were shown a series of happy emojis associated with healthy food options, and unhappy emojis with unhealthy food choices.
Oh, that's clever.
Half were then set loose in a mock grocery store to choose 4 things they wanted. Healthy choices were emo labeled with smiley faces, and unhealthy ones had frowns. Half went down the aisle with no such labeling.
Okay.
83% of the kids chose at least one healthy option. A similar experiment in a Cincinnati school cafeteria resulted in the vegetable consumption going up by 62% thanks to emoji labels.
So actually,
how crazy is that?
So actually, emojis can actually be good in some ways.
Yeah, it helped. Helped these kids to eat healthier. It's fantastic. Wow,
Clever.
awesome,
Wow.
super,
Smashing.
awesome,
Great.
fantastic.
So a few years ago, 2016. I love how mine has the person's name and their age. Yours are more in the background. So 64-year-old Susan Angela Brown. They even have 3 names, so she must have done something great. She was on a cruise fight with a cruise. There is actually a fight. So a cruise ship with her husband when they started fighting.
Okay.
So she was so annoyed that she got off the ship in Funchal, Madeira, and refused to get on again. Okay. Because she was like, I'm done with this. This is bullshit. You want to freaking ship off to wherever you want to ship, you son of a bitch. Instead, she traveled to the island's airport to catch her flight back home. Oh, the weather's coming in. The rain's just arrived, people.
Oh, yeah.
In a strange turn of events, however, she seemingly changed her mind after the ship had already left the island. So then she didn't even catch a plane. She thought another idea. So instead of sticking to her flight plan, Brown decided to make a swim for it, for the ship. So she thought, crap, okay, I'm fighting. I'm never going to come back. You ship away. Okay, and you know what? I love you. I'm going to come back and find you, but the ship's constant. I'm going to swim to you. And it was in the icy Atlantic.
Oh, my soul.
Fortunately, she was spotted by fishermen who heard her calling for help. By the time they saw her, she was already 500 meters from the coast.
Good grief.
And suffered from hypothermia. The port captain later said that because she had been in the water for more than 3 hours, she thinks he's going to swim to a ship. She was close to death and would have definitely died if the fishermen hadn't seen her when they did. And her husband was alerted, as he would, and got off the ship in Lisbon where he took a flight back to Madeira to reunite and laugh at her. No, wait, that last part's fine. He just went to reunite with her. What makes any form of human sense that you can swim to a boat that's already left? And it's not a boat, it's a ship.
Yeah.
In the Antarctic Ocean. In the Antarctic Ocean. In the friggin'
Atlantic.
Yeah, thank you. That's the one I'm looking for. Atlantic Ocean.
So we have 5 minutes left before load shedding.
You may go.
So
Good old load shedding going, eh?
just quickly
Do a quick one,
last
and
one.
it's on you.
Emojis have been legally considered terroristic threats in some ways.
All right.
In 2017, a 17-year-old posted 2 emojis on Facebook as a status update. One was a police officer and the other one was a gun. The gun emoji was pointing at the police officer emoji.
Okay.
There was no text-based threat that was directed at police, although he did type something vaguely menacing and those words were generally threatening. New York police charged him with making terroristic threats, a charge that has carried a potential 7-year sentence. The specific charge was later dropped. This is after the grand jury decided not to indict.
Wow.
Not because the police thought better of it. So yeah, you got to be careful when you...
that person's lucky.
Yeah, very.
Very lucky, because he didn't do that by mistake. He didn't wake up and just, I'm going to pick 2 emojis, but they're actually very bad together.
Yep.
I think he knew what he was doing. Maybe he was just trying to make a statement.
You don't mess around with that in the
So you don't play games with a person. Yeah. So no, he didn't wake up and say, whoops, I bumped 2 things that are not even on the same page. So lucky he got off with that. Because, I mean, there's no proof that he was going to do something.
But still, that can be implied.
So can you get thrown into jail because of 2 emojis? I guess you can.
Well, I think if there was enough threat in the accompanying text, possibly.
There we go. But if there wasn't.
But yeah, so when you're going to use emojis, just check yourself or you wreck yourself.
Yeah, and when you feel that you want to leave someone's ship because they pissed you off and then you want to go back again, don't swim.
Yeah.
And above all, don't eat any cutlery. But if you do have pica, P-I-C-A, because it is a real thing, watch what you're eating and think, yeah, 1 more teaspoon can't hurt. Yeah, it can. It does. Thanks so much.
And this has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast.
You know what, guys? It has been.
And yes, like, comment, subscribe, share it.
Do all that beautiful stuff. We did get another subscriber, by the way.
Fantastic.
So we're on 56.
Fantastic.
We were originally, but someone kept on going up and down like a friggin' kangaroo from that certain country who I know where it's from. And then someone else, a new guy. Thank you for joining us. We're on 56.
Cool.
See you at number 90, people.
Awesome, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers, bye.